one of the most important things that we can ever learn to do is to trust ourselves. And I know it's hard if you've made mistakes in the past. Trust me, I've been there. And in true actuality, many of us judge ourselves based on mistakes that we've made in the past. So we stop trusting ourselves because we think that we're too naive. We think that we're not smart enough. And let's be honest, we don't trust ourselves to make good decisions. But once you've done the work, I wanted to come on here and tell you today, you can trust yourself. You've done the healing work. You don't need to keep punishing yourself for mistakes that you've made in the past. And your past doesn't dictate your future. So trust me, I understand firsthand. I used to be one of those people that fell for a lot of tricks. I was manipulated. I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't have the best taste in men, right? And so for a long time, I just stopped trusting myself. I was like, listen, based on the decisions that I made in the past, maybe I should seek help elsewhere. Based on the decisions that I made in the past, I don't think that I can trust myself. And for a long time, I stayed in that energy. But this is where the self-forgiveness becomes so important. Being able to forgive yourself and to let go of the past and to know that you can step into a new identity and that your past doesn't dictate your future. Yes, you might have made poor decisions in the past. Yes, you might have chosen lovers that didn't reciprocate or didn't treat you nice. Yes, you might have had friends that took advantage of you. We've all made mistakes, but give yourself some grace because you didn't know better. You didn't do those things just because you wanted to mistreat yourself. You didn't know better. And as I always say, when we know better, we do better. So now that you've done your healing work, it's okay to trust yourself again. It's okay for us to take advice and help from others. But the most important opinion has to be yours. The last say has to be yours. And any decision that you make should be based on how you feel, not what somebody else is telling you. Because you're the only one that has to live with that decision. But trust that your inner voice is leading and guiding you. Trust that you can surrender. You can flow. You can allow yourself to experience love again. You can take a chance in yourself. If that's what your heart is telling you, go and do it. Go for it. Trust yourself. Because you deserve it. Your opinion matters. You're not that naive little girl anymore. Give yourself a chance to shift into the new identity. But you have to trust that you are a different person now. And that because you are a different person, you will make different decisions. That because you have healed, you won't allow people to walk over you. You'll have healthier boundaries. You will be able to recognize red flags. You'll be able to walk away with ease. And you won't be so easily manipulated. Why? Because you've done your healing. Because you have wisdom now. And that's the beauty of life and experience. It gives you wisdom. It's one thing for our parents to tell us. It's another thing for us to experience firsthand and to be able to make our own decisions. So you got this. Many of us grew up in the church, and you all probably know that scripture, lean not to your own understanding. Well, I have a different interpretation of that, because I think that some of us take it as, don't trust yourself, don't listen to yourself. Well, if God is speaking to you, then what it is saying is, don't necessarily lean on the understanding of the world. Listen to the inner voice, because that inner voice is always guiding you. So you are leaning on a higher understanding. What I personally think that means is us not leaning on necessarily what is in our head all the time, logic, but to lean on the intuition, our heart. This is where God speaks to you, in your heart. And many of us, we lean on the understanding that we've gotten from the world, how the world does things. But God, the God, Spirit, the universe, doesn't necessarily function that way. It doesn't function off of those principles. And our understanding came from indoctrination since we were children of how the world works. But your spirit, your soul knows the universal laws. So it doesn't operate the same way. So the best thing you can do is to listen to your heart, to listen to your intuition, and not always the logic. And you can trust that that inner voice is always leading you down the right path. That's what you're trusting, the inner God, that inner voice that's always trying to lead you towards your destiny. And sometimes that voice gets overpowered by all of those other voices that you grew up hearing, with people telling you how things work in the world, what you should believe, what you shouldn't believe, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. And so that inner voice within us, it gets blotted out. And all of these other little voices become louder. But trusting yourself is all about taking a deep breath and knowing that every answer that you need is inside of you. The moment that a problem comes up, you also have a solution, which is something very powerful that I learned from Abraham Hicks recently. The moment that a problem arises, a solution arises, and you can tap into that solution, but you have to quiet all of those other voices inside of your head so that you can hear the solution. As I always say, you got this. It's time to trust in yourself again. You are trustworthy, and that's going to allow you to trust in the universe. It's going to allow you to trust in others. Peace and love. Please like, subscribe, and share. You have a wonderful day.